In a dimly lit theater, the murmurs of the audience filled the air with curiosity and doubt. A small figure walked onto the stage, barely reaching the height of the microphones, her tiny hands trembling ever so slightly. She was just 10 years old, a young Filipino girl from a small coastal town, with a story no one could have predicted and a voice that would change the night forever. When she opened her mouth to sing, the judges sat in stunned silence, and even Simon Cowell, known for his unshakable critical eye, was visibly moved. If you are ready to witness a performance that will make your heart race and tears flow, subscribe now and don't miss this unforgettable journey. The theater lights dimmed, and the camera zoomed in on the young girl, Maria, as she stood in the center of the stage. She wore a simple dress, her hair tied back neatly, and a calm yet determined look in her eyes. Behind her, the orchestra waited silently, ready to follow her lead. Maria had practiced for years in her small hometown, her only audience the walls of her modest home and the occasional neighbor who would pause to listen. Her talent had been discovered by a local teacher who insisted she try out for America's Got Talent, despite her family's initial hesitation. As she took a deep breath, the audience could feel her nerves, but there was something in the way she held herself that spoke of courage beyond her years. Simon Cowell leaned forward in his chair, a skeptical eyebrow raised, not sure what to expect from such a young contestant. The other judges exchanged glances, curious but quietly doubtful that this little girl could command the stage like the seasoned performers they were used to. Then Maria began to sing. The first notes floated gently into the theater, soft yet precise, almost ethereal. The melody carried the weight of a lifetime of practice, of struggles unseen, and of dreams bigger than her small hands could contain. The audience sat frozen, mouths slightly agape, as the voice of this 10-year-old girl filled every corner of the room. Her tone was operatic, pure, and hauntingly beautiful, a voice that seemed impossible to belong to someone so young. Halfway through the song, Maria's confidence grew, her voice rising and falling with incredible control. The judges could no longer hide their astonishment. How could someone this young hold such mastery over an art form that even adults struggled with? Simon Cowell, who had heard thousands of performances, was now leaning forward in disbelief, the usual critique replaced by an expression of awe. As the final notes lingered in the air, there was a moment of complete silence. It was as if the theater itself was holding its breath. Then, the audience erupted into applause, cheers echoing off the walls. Tears streamed down Simon Cowell's face, and without hesitation, he pressed the golden buzzer, sending Maria directly to the live shows. The stage lit up with golden light, the sound of the buzzer mingling with the roar of the crowd. Maria smiled, overwhelmed by the moment, barely able to comprehend that her dream had come true. But the journey that led Maria to this stage was not without its challenges. Born in a small fishing village in the Philippines, she grew up in a family that struggled to make ends meet. Her parents worked multiple jobs just to provide food and school supplies, and music lessons were considered a luxury they could barely afford. Yet Maria's passion for singing was undeniable. She would wake up before sunrise, practicing scales with a voice that seemed too powerful for her tiny frame, determined to make a better life for herself and her family. Her first break came when a local music teacher, noticing her talent, offered to mentor her without charging a fee. The teacher introduced her to opera, teaching her breathing techniques, pitch control, and stage presence. Maria would practice for hours each day, sometimes singing in the rain when the electricity went out, or using a makeshift piano in her living room. Her family watched, sometimes worried that she was pushing herself too hard, but also incredibly proud of her unwavering determination. The journey to America's Got Talent was full of obstacles. Financial constraints made traveling to auditions difficult. Maria's parents had to save for months just to afford the plane tickets, and every step of the way, there was doubt and fear. What if the judges didn't like her? What if her voice cracked under pressure? What if her dream ended before it even began? But Maria refused to give up. She knew that this was her moment to shine, and nothing could deter her. Once on stage, her performance was not only a testament to her talent but also to her resilience. Every note carried a story of struggle and hope. The judges were not just watching a performance, they were witnessing a journey, one that spoke to the power of perseverance and the universal language of music. When Simon Cowell pressed the golden buzzer, it wasn't just for the voice, it was a recognition of Maria's spirit, courage, and extraordinary gift. As the crowd cheered and the camera panned across the audience, tears glistened in many eyes. For a moment, it was not about competition or judgment, it was about the human capacity to inspire and be moved by sheer talent and determination. Maria had transformed from a small-town girl into a symbol of hope for countless children around the world, showing that age, circumstance, and geography could never limit true passion. Her story didn't end with the buzzer. In the weeks leading up to the live shows, Maria faced new challenges. Intense rehearsals, media attention, and the pressure of living up to expectations tested her resolve. There were moments of doubt and exhaustion, nights when she cried herself to sleep, wondering if she could meet the high standards she had set for herself. But each time, she reminded herself why she started this journey: to honor her family, her teachers, and the countless dreams of children like her. The judges continued to support and guide her, offering both constructive criticism and encouragement. Simon Cowell, in particular, took a personal interest, mentoring her on-stage presence and performance techniques. He often remarked that her talent was beyond her years, and that her voice had the power to transcend language and culture, connecting with audiences on a deeply emotional level. When the live shows began, Maria faced competitors from around the world, each with impressive talent and compelling stories. Yet she remained focused, determined to showcase her abilities and stay true to her unique voice. Every performance was met with standing ovations, and social media buzzed with clips of her singing, inspiring viewers far beyond the walls of the theater. She became an overnight sensation, a symbol of hope, perseverance, and the magic of music. The journey was not without twists and surprises. During one live performance, technical difficulties threatened to derail her singing, yet Maria adapted effortlessly, turning what could have been a disaster into a moment of brilliance. The audience and judges alike marveled at her composure under pressure, realizing that talent alone was not enough. She possessed grace, resilience, and an unwavering belief in herself. As the competition progressed, Maria's story began to resonate with viewers worldwide. Letters poured in from fans, inspired by her courage and determination. People from all walks of life saw themselves in her journey, the struggles, the sacrifices, and the pursuit of dreams against all odds. For Maria, every note sung was not just a performance, but a tribute to the countless people who had supported her along the way. By the time the finale arrived, the stage was set for a historic moment. Maria stood confidently, no longer the nervous 10-year-old from a small village, but a young artist ready to claim her place in the spotlight. The judges, including Simon Cowell, were moved to tears, and the audience erupted in cheers that shook the theater. When she hit the final note, it resonated not just in the room, but in the hearts of viewers watching from every corner of the globe. Her victory was celebrated as a triumph of talent, courage, and perseverance. Maria's golden buzzer moment had become more than a viral sensation. It was a story that reminded everyone that dreams could come true, no matter how impossible they seemed. She returned home to a hero's welcome, embraced by family and community, her journey inspiring a new generation of young singers and dreamers.